Master your emotions English audiobook. Topic is depression. The hardest thing about depression is that is addictive. It begins to feel uncomfortable not to be depressed. You feel guilty or feeling happy. Pet vents, musicians. Non-clinical depressions occurs when you are not where you want to be life and you lost any type of any hope and to ever be and can't accept it. This might happen after the tragic event in your life more progressively as some aspects of your life slowly fall apart. Depression result from feeling hopeless says in one or several areas in your life. Here are some example. You lost your job and have no hope of finding a new one to match your expectations. You are sick and have no hope to recover as well as you would like to. And you are divorced from your partner, can only see your kids once in life a while, and you have a little hope of finding suitable partner. You are in so much debt in that it seems as though you will never get out of it, and you suffered as the bereavement. Okay, while the events above a tragic depression can also be created out of more ordinary, less several events. For instance, some people may spend so much time dwelling on the past and worrying about the future, they eventually become depressed. This may happen even through no significant events have occurred in their lives. It is essential to remind yourself that depressions, like other emotional states, is it's a neither good or nor bad. It just is, and you are not your depression. You existed before it, you exist during in it, and all things being equal, you will exist after it. Depression is an active process. Okay, while it may seem as true depression is happening to you, it is in fact created by negative thoughts you identified with. Thus you do have some responsibility in creating your depression. Does it mean you should feel guilty or beat yourself up for being depressed? Of course not, never. In fact, you should never beat yourself for any of the emotions feel, and that will be pointless. What it means, however, is that because you have played a part creating in your the current emotional state, you also have the power to get out of it, and that's great news, right? Remember Dr. David K. Reynolds' first hand experience with depression. He wrote the following: depression can be created by sitting slouched in chair, shoulders hunched, and head hanging down. Repeat these words over and over. There is nothing anybody can do, and no one can help. It's hopeless. I am helpless. I give up. Shake your hand, sign, cry. In general, act depressed, and genuine feeling will follow in the time. David K. Reynolds, Construction of Living. David K. Reynolds' depression was entirely self created. It was an active process that included adopting a certain body language, repeating certain words, and having certain thoughts. He had to act in certain way, become depressed. The good news is that because you have the power to create depression, you also have to power climb out of it. And however, in a negative state such as depression, ignoring negative thoughts and replacing them with more positive ones can be extremely challenging. Even if you try to think positive of thoughts of great gratitude, joy, or happiness, at first they will seem how to for no power. But you may experience other negative emotions such as anger or instant. For instance, you may ignore your anger at first. Your friends may even encourage you to do so. They would rather see you quit and depressed than angry. However, sometimes anger may help you move up the emotional ladder and overcome depression. Keep in mind, any emotions other than depressions can help, and learn to embrace whatever emotional state seems to give you more energy and therefore provide more power to move up the emotional ladder. David K. Reynolds also suggests that feelings fluctuate over time even with the depressed people. He wrote, in the deepest depression, there are ripples and waves of somewhat lighter mood. You can use moments when you feel slightly better to take whatever actions may be beneficial to that might. How to use depressions to grow? Depression is a sign you have a lost touch with reality. Have you noticed that human beings are one of the few species on earth that has the ability to become depressed? This is because they are only ones who can get lost in their mind and become enslaved by negative thoughts and disempowering stories. Depression is a sign that you need to move away from your mind by letting go of your worries about the past, future, or interpretations of the present situations and reconnect to the present moment. It can be powerful invitation to let go, identify you have been clinging to for so many years. This identify is what led you to believe you should be doing certain things, making a certain amount of money, and adopting the certain lifestyle or developing certain social status. Depression invites you reconnect with your body emotions while getting out of your head. After all, didn't your mind create the depression in the first place? Some people who experience several grief, sadness, and depressions like to keep themselves busy to avoid thinking. When depressed, more thinking is seldom the solutions. You rarely see people getting out of depressions by using their mind. Therefore, instead of thinking you want to reconnect with your body, exercising is a great way to do this and has been shown to be effective in improving your mood. For additional information, refer to the sections The Benefits of Exercising. In some rare cases, several depressions can lead to people separate from their mind, and when this happens, their story suddenly drop. Apparently, this is what happened to Eckhart Tolle. As I recall in his book The Power of Now, he had sudden awakening, and his mind stopped. Here his what he wrote about experience. This withdrawal must have been so complete that this pal suffering self immediately collapsed, just as if a plug had been pulled out of an inflatable toy. Eckhart Tolle. In summary, depression tells you to let go of your ego and reconnect with reality. It invites you to get out of your mind, which can only recall the past and anticipate the futures and live more in the present. Okay, several depressions may require the help of professional, but for milder depressions, here are some mediating strategies. Exercise reconnect with your body and your emotions to overcome depression. It is essential for you escape your minds. It is easier to feel your way out of depressions than to think your way out of it. And I would venture to say that most people spend over 90% of their lives in their mind, and they have only are rare moments are lucidity when they are fully aware of present. And for instance, they don't listen to people, but they judge and interpret what they say, anticipate what they all say next, and or get lost in their thoughts. All these things happen at the mind level and show how people are not fully present because they either live in the past or in the future. Therefore, in their mind, they experience a number of negative emotions. Below are some of the things you can do reconnect with your the body and your emotions. As previously discussed, exercising is a great way to calm your mind and connect with your body, and it has positive effect on your mood. Mediated meditation is a effective way to observe your mind and stop identifying with your thoughts too heavily. Meditation is a simply tool to help you reconnect with reality, observing thoughts, emotion, and sensation instead of getting lost in your mind. Activity getting busy allows you avoid excessive thinking, and instead of feeding your depressions with constant negative thoughts and concentrate your attention on something else. Focus on others. As I mentioned else, Dale Carnegie's book, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. Alfred Adler used to say to his Melacholia's patients, malicious whatever, you can be cured in a 14 days if you follow these prescriptions. Okay, sorry. Try to think and every day now how you can please someone, whether or not it is accurate. Focusing on others can certainly help you forget about your own issues and focus on something more positive. Unfortunately, when you feel depressed, you won't want to do any of these things. However, you start moving and start keeping yourself busy, your situations will gradually improve and it will become easier and easier. Thus, it is important to take things just one step at a time. Refer to the exercise in a corresponding, it's an action step. Refer to the exercise in the corresponding sections of the workbook. Sections 4, how to use your emotions to. Next point is fear and discomfort. I mean fear or discomfort. Life always begins with one step outside of your comfort zone. That is Sharon Elder's inspirational author. Whenever we try something new, we experience anxiety, yes, and we are afraid of the unknown, and this is why we like to maintain our daily routine and stay within our comfort zone. From our brain's point of view, this makes perfect sense, and yet our current habit allow us to be safe and avoid to be potential threat to our survival and the survival of our ego. And why bother challenging them? This explains why we often keep the same routine or having the same thoughts over and over. It is also why we may experience a lot internal resistance when trying to change ourselves. Thus, when we try to move beyond our comfort zone, we experience fear and distress. How now? Do you want to stay in the same place most of our lives and avoid taking any risk, or do we want to pursue our dreams, see you what you are truly capable of becoming? We have to remember most of our fears and our threat only to our ego, not to our survival, but generally that aren't physical threats and but imaginary ones. If we play it safe, we risk missing out of one life and we may regret it later. Below are common fear you may experience. Fear of rejection. You are afraid of being rejected. This may be physical rejection from specific group, but it is generally more subtle. For instance, you may be afraid of making a comment people could disapprove, and for of asking someone out and be turned down. Okay, and for sharing your work and be criticized for it. Fear of failure. You are afraid of failing, and this usually comes from the deepest fear or not being good enough, and are afraid of being ridiculed and believe that failure will erode you self esteem. Fear of loss. Human beings have aversions to loss, which is why we are often more motivated to prevent loss than to secure again. Fear of disturbing. You are afraid of disturbing people, perhaps due to the belief you are not important enough. As a result, you may feel reluctant to affirm yourself to fear appearing selfish. Fear of success. You are afraid of success. You may worry you won't be able to sustain it with all added pressures on your shoulders. How to use fear to grow? The fear of doing something and new is often to a sign, and you should go ahead and do it anyway. This indicates a great opportunity for personal growth. Fear, as with any other emotion, only exists in your mind. This is why we often realize what a fool we have been after we have completed something we were initially wary on starting. People who end up reaching their widest goals often do so because they are willing to leave their comfort zone. Over time, they learn to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Picture one thing you were once afraid to do that is now no big deal for you. For instance, I bet you were scared the first time you drove or on your first day work. Now didn't you get used to it? The truth is people have a formidable ability to learn. The key is to grow accused customer and to experiencing discomfort once in while. Why not facing your fears on regular basis? You will greatly limit your potential for development. Staying inside your comfort zone can also erode your sense from self-esteem, as in the back of your mind you know you are not doing what you are supposed to do. There is a law in nature, things either grow or die. The same goes for human beings. When humans don't move beyond their comfort zone, they start dying inside. Don't let that happen to you. Benjamin Franklin said, some people die at 25, aren't buried until 75. Make sure some people doesn't include you. Taking actions. The first step to move out of your comfort zone is to realize even the most successful people on the earth feel fear. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is taking action despite the fear. Courage is realizing fear is not going to go away and doing what you want to do anyway. Without fear, there is no courage. As you face fear on regular basis, you cultivate courage and turn into habit. You don't need to avoid fear and numb yourself to your before, and you can take a action. Instead, you must accept the fact that fear won't go away and get used to it. Then must decide to take actions. Exercise, move out of your comfort zone. To start moving out of your comfort zone, you can ask yourself, what is the one thing I should be doing but fear has made me procrastinate over. Once you do that one thing, you will likely experience a sense of pride and being alive. This is the sign you are on the right track. See it as that reward your brain gives you moving beyond your comfort zone. Action step, refer to the exercise to the corresponding sections of the workbook. Sections for how to use your emotions to grow fear and discomfort. Next topic in next video. Okay.